So who does this benefit? Who's benefiting from this? Who
Um,
and whose interest is it to keep this going? Why are people so impassioned about critical race theory and this ideology?
well, there are kind of two groups of people that it benefits. There are the people that it benefits kind of in the small direct sense, which are the grifters that end up getting the positions of power. So a critical race theorist comes in, says, I think that your school is too racist. I have a consulting program, pay me $3 million and I'll teach you guys how to be anti-racist. And so there's the grifters benefit directly. But if you look at kind of like the state of world leaders, how in the world did Joe Biden get elected? Like, how did that happen? Like, for real. You look at things like this, those people are benefiting tremendously because the amount of fear and hatred, if we just take the election at face value, which we will do for the moment, if we just take the election at face value, which I can't even say that with a straight face, but if we do that, the fear and hatred of Donald Trump that was stoked through these mentalities, the utter divisiveness that has torn apart our society benefits the people at the top who want a dumbed down, controllable population that's angry and mad all the time. The entities that are pushing these theories the hardest and funding these theories the hardest probably stand to benefit from them. And who's that? Well, the United Nations is all over it. The World Economic Forum is all over it. The Open Society Foundation, headed by George Soros, is all over it. Almost every go to their websites, and almost every article for the last 7 years has been about these topics. We can go back to the story with Occupy Wall Street. The big banks benefited from it, this kind of weird collusion of corporations where all the corporations and all the universities and everybody decided to all go woke at once. Well, aren't they so virtuous or whatever? They're somehow benefiting from it. Um, they have tremendous power now that they didn't have, and they get to have it on the back of this woke identity politics, which actually is using people like gays and lesbians and bisexuals and trans people as shields, or black people or other racial minority groups as shields. They say, well, if you're against what we're doing, then you're anti-LGBTQ. Like, no, I actually literally don't care about people one way or the other. I don't fly your freak flag in your bedroom, keep it in your bedroom, have a great day. That's fine. I don't care. It's not about LGBTQ. It's about, oh, it is because it's a fake acronym, but it's not about gay people. It's about the fact that they can claim something like anti-LGBTQ, and people think, oh, well, there's millions of gay people in this country, and those people are bigots that don't like them, but they're actually hiding behind millions of gay people who don't want any of this happening either. Um, so that a small cadre of activists and grifters can advance themselves while the people fueling the fire with bags and bags of cash can continue to advance their agendas and kind of the big global political stage, whatever those happen to be. Where, we hear from the World Economic Forum and the United Nations that we're going to have a new sustainable and inclusive future with a completely new economic system that they just happen to be completely in control of, that will be facilitated through global cooperation, and that they have penetrated the cabinets of all these different world governments like Canada and the United States, and like, that's who it benefits. This weird kind of big global shift to a new, I hate to say it, world order that is guided by characters that are identifiable, that are also the ones pushing all this stuff and making it so that your corporation can only have, your stocks carried on index funds if you push all this stuff. They obviously are the ones who benefit from it.
Did they create this opportunity for themselves, or did they just take hold of something as it presented?
I think,
They saw an
honestly,
opportunity and they took it, or
yeah, I actually think that they did not create this. I think that what happened was some people. I think that that moment when they destroyed Occupy Wall Street with identity politics was a watershed moment. I think they had plans. I know they had plans because they wrote books back in the like early 1970s saying they wanted to transform the world economy to a different model, a stakeholder driven model, a circular economy that is much more efficient in reusing its own waste, etc. They've been saying this for over 50 years, but I don't think they knew how to do it up until all of a sudden in 2010 and 11, woke identity politics became just this almost like it's almost like the laser beam on the Death Star to just blow up anything that resists them. And when they saw the success of woke identity politics wrecking Occupy Wall Street, I think that's when they knew that they had the tools that they needed to push forward in the direction that they wanted to go. Um, they already knew otherwise, tools like public health and emergency powers, et cetera, work. But this thing keeps the culture so scattered, so frustrated, so angry with each other, so divided that, and while making the people pushing it look like they're saints and angels, that they realized that they had literally discovered a super weapon. And here we have, depending on the branch, if it's like feminism, you have 50, 60 years of theory written out already. It's already all developed. If you're talking about critical race theory, by then you're talking, the first real critical race theory book was 1970. And so again, you have 40 years of material to start working from. Critical race theory got its name in 1989, so you could say it was 20 years. If you look into critical pedagogy, it's going back into the 60s. I mean, they found this treasure trove of well-developed stuff in academia that they could appropriate to their cause very, very quickly. And I think that the reason things seemed so normal up until the mid 2010s, 2015 is usually the year people say everything kind of started to go nuts, is because it was in 2011 and 12 when people started actually dumping money into this in earnest. There's a little bit before that, probably on the scale of $100 million a year, dumping into woke projects back into like 2006 and 7. But by 2015, it's a multi-billion-dollar project every year, and the amount of money going into it, the amount of resources going into it, and the amount of coordination that can buy, I think, is what has push the world into what is undoubtedly, in my mind, a revolution by these neo-Marxist or neo-communist the elites or whatever we want to call them.